the class as we start?
Yes.
Yes, I see we still are expecting more of your colleagues to come to join us. Keep yourself safe. Yourselves adhering to the direction by the Minister of Health to keep distance, wash your hands, and keep personal hygiene at the highest level.
Yes.
So even as we talk about strategic management, we are also managing ourselves strategically to ensure that what we do, we survive, we live tomorrow and the future. Yes, so we're just waiting for two more people, but we'll be getting there very shortly. The course, again, this topic is, we continue the journey of strategic management. This is session 3, lesson 3 or topic 3. And I hope I have most of my students and all of you are actually finalists in terms of the last semester, the 4th year, 2nd semester. And that is in business, computer science, computer, and also hospitality. The 3 teams or so are expected in this class, 4th years, as you read in the introduction there. So today, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at the journey ahead of us, I welcome you formally aboard on behalf of the School of Business and the university at large, University Tech University. You are home away from home. Of course, we are studying away from the university, but we are there. Welcome to the session. Again, just begin by saying the materials that are accompanying this presentation or this class that we expect you to read, study, and ask any questions. You can send an email or just do the chat as we go along in this course here. I'll be making an announcement at the end of, before the end of this session regarding tomorrow and next session. As we begin, ladies and gentlemen, you can see ahead of us. What do we see here? Maybe I can get some of you saying something. What do we see here, ladies and gentlemen? Yes? What do you see there? That picture, what does it show? I've called it going to the future. What do you see in this picture? Anybody? Anybody's guess? You can type. What do you see in this picture? You see in this picture any relationship with strategic management? Of course, you can type your response, or you can verbalize. You can tell us what it is. Yeah. What do we see in this picture? Any relationship with strategic management? Mukari has said, Lucy, you said a bridge. That's good. We can see, all of us, we can see a bridge. Rostondop says, vehicles on the bridge. Wow, very good eyes. Hawk-eyed, yes. Maya said a bridge, yes, the May. Sea, yes, you can see the sea there. Any relationship with strategic management? Hello, Jacqueline Karibu. Okay. Yes, any relationship with strategic management? Anybody? And say something about that bridge? Yeah. Besides seeing the sea, is there any relationship between this bridge or the sea there with strategic management? Waiting for responses. Either you can use your mic or you can chat. Yeah. Any relationship? This is a bridge going across. It's one of the longest bridges in the world. And some of you can guess where it is. Yeah. Could be somewhere in China or US, of course. Or somewhere in Europe, of course. It could also be there. But more likely like China or US. Yes, the bridge was strategically set, and this helps in transport, right? Without the bridge there, these vehicles, goods and services could not go across. Bridge, yes, related to strategy management, it took a lot of planning, correct? Yes, a lot of planning. Ngudi Lillian, do you want to say something? Ngudi, welcome aboard, Ngudi Lillian. Yeah, yes, related to strategy management, it took time, a lot of planning, right? You can imagine the kind of professionals that were involved in ensuring that this bridge was put up. A lot of planning, a lot of resources. Who are involved? The architects, for example, the surveyors, quantity surveyors, and of course the construction, isn't it? And then of course the materials, the steel. Says strategic planning for the future, right? It looks at going into the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think of this in terms of the future. You can think of the future in your own life, because education you are getting at the university, actually like that bridge. Roston, do you want to say something? Hello?
No, sir.
Yep. So I can see that chicken there. Keep the chicken quiet, we'll eat later. Hear it behind the scenes. So we are saying the bridge here is into the future. And even your education, if we can relate it to strategic management, of course, there's a lot of planning. A lot of resources came in there. A lot of other things were involved. You can also see the bridge as your own life into the future. The degree you are getting at CTech is that bridge that should take you into the future. And so, this is strategy management correctly. We're saying strategy management looks at the future of an organization, company. Please, can we mute our mics, please? I'm requesting you to mute your mic so that we can all be together without the discomfort of the noise. Right. So I was saying, relating to strategy management, we can say it leads into the future of a company, an organization. They need to look beyond. The bridge is like the strategy plan, as we'll be seeing later. And then as we go along here, ladies and gentlemen, we want us to see also that. Now, what is that? Focusing on the future. What is that picture about? Huh? What is this picture about? Of course, it's captioned focusing on the future. But what is that picture about? What do you see in that picture? Anybody, you can have your mic and talk, or anybody can be able to type. Yes, what is that picture about? This one now, the second one. Slide 4, focusing on the future. What do we see here? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what do we see here? I'm here waiting for some of you to respond. It's about transformation and innovation. Yes, what about it? Good. This transformation and innovation, about what? What specifically are we seeing here? Machines. Right, what sort of machines do we see here? Yeah, some work is in progress, right? Cars being assembled, yeah, Kiruzi, Raphael, right? Those are cars, machines are there. What sort of machines are they? It's a motor vehicle assembly, you can see in the middle row there, or yes, row. And on the sides, what do we see on the sides? What are those red things we see here? Long arms, interesting machines. What are they? What are they? Can see some besides motor vehicle assembly. We see cars in the middle, semi-finished cars, robots. Excellent. Those are robotics. When we talk of robotics, they are now in place. Do you see any human beings anywhere, really? Do we see any? No? It looks like if they're there, they must be controlling those robotics somewhere in some control rooms. Yes. So these machines are work. That's the future. And we're looking at strategic organizations and companies. That's where they go. Whereas others are using the manual type, where you have a whole battalion. Yeah. A lot of intelligence, artificial intelligence, AI, yes. When you look at the machines, the companies that are on the old yesteryears, you'll see a battalion of mechanics busy tightening bolts and nuts. But here you can see where we have gone, the future, whereby manufacturing, the assembly is done using equipment and and machines. So this is the future. Can we see this as the future for Kenya? I want you to think about that. And for companies in Kenya, we see something like this for the companies in Kenya, especially companies in the horticulture and so on. We see robotics playing a role. Even the medicine, today medicine has also gone the same way. So what are we saying? We are saying that focusing the future is a key, the key foundation for strategic management. Coming up with an assembly line that's automated using robotics. Really, people are looking at the future. The cars today, I want to tell you this. The cars we see in the streets today are coming out in large numbers. New are being manufactured compared to 30, 40, 50 years ago. Thanks to technology that's there. And the companies that invested in technology are the ones which are reaping today. And even the future, for any organization to do well, they should be focused in the future. And that's the role of strategic management. Where do we want to go in the future? That also brings us to where we are in terms of learning. Many institutions in the recent past did not think about doing online blended learning. It has come now. Some universities, including your own Zitec University, was already doing some kind of blended learning through e-learning mode, through e-learning school. And so here we are. And the future is also going to be very different in terms of this industry of education and training and any other industry. This is what we are looking at. A country like Kenya, which is looking at being with Vision 2030, focusing on being a middle income country. This is where we should be focusing. So the fathers of this nation are looking at how can we automate our industries and so on. So in the same way, the tea industry, they're using equipment now, and many other industries we have today, looking at the future. And that is the main goal of strategic management. Now let's move to today's menu. And before we look at today's menu, we look at the recap of last session, that is topic 2. We looked at the strategic management process. And the process, as we went through last time, we are looking at environmental scanning. If you are doing strategy management, the process, it begins with environmental scanning. You get down to formulation of your strategies. You look at the implementing, and you look at the evaluation and control as you continue. That includes that assembly, car assembly there. There was environment, looking at the technology, and looking at the competitors. The company, I'm sure the car assembly company there must have done that. Then their strategies was to automate, to come robotics, work in an assembly line. And of course, implemented that. That's what we are seeing. We saw in that picture. And of course, there's continuous evaluation, monitoring, and learning. That's what's going on. We didn't see human beings there, but they are somewhere in running those machines and controlling them and ensuring quality and so on. And there is feedback that goes on. This is what we did last time in the last class. And we were still almost here, but we are giving the general overview of strategy management. Then another aspect, again, we can see it from this other also closer cap of strategic management process again. You can see here that at the strategic intent, which is really at the environment and looking at the environmental scanning. You are looking at your vision, your mission, your objectives, and you are moving on to look at the next stage here being now strategy formulation, which we saw earlier. The second stage is formulation of strategies, where you are doing SWOT analysis, you are doing a competitive level analysis, business level analysis, corporate business, and then strategic plan preparation. So as part of that, and of course there will be implementation, which is I think the next session or the session after this one, and of course analysis and evaluation. That is a recap of what we did as an overview of strategic management. Now, what are the objectives for today? Where are we going today? What's our menu for today? Our menu on your table today is one. At the end of this topic, you should be able to analyze business strategies for sustained competitive advantage, with specific emphasis on cost leadership and differentiation opportunities, market focus, focusing on the market, and customer care strategies. These are examples. product stroke service diversification strategy. This is what we're looking at in terms of we are analyzing this as regards business strategies for sustained competitive advantage. You remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we said strategic management really talks about creating and developing a competitive advantage over your competitors. And we gave examples, we still do again. And then the second objective, which we want to achieve at the end, which will be almost like you may say a dessert after your lunch. Sorry, I'm talking about lunch. Some people might feel hungry, don't feel hungry yet. Yeah. But the second objective here will be to evaluate the multi-business strategy applied by various firms. Multi-business strategy. Here we are looking at strategies for sustained competitive advantage, and they will look at multi-business. What are some of the strategies businesses have put in place in terms of ensuring this? This is still within the second block here, where we're talking about strategy formulation. Before you formulate your strategies, that is what you do when you talk about looking at analyzing at what level, what is this thing that makes us be more successful, and so on. As we go on, ladies and gentlemen, as a way of introduction, we all know Safaricom. And if I talk of Safaricom, we have used it many times. When you talk of Safaricom as a very successful company in this country, of course, the majority see it that way because of where they spread. Even now, we use Safaricom services. It's really one of those companies that has done very well in terms of really hitting the market hard and being a leader in the market. So one of Safaricom's key strategies really is customer retention. For any organization, the key thing here is a customer. Customer is king. And as a strategy for an organization, unless you retain your customers, you attract and retain them, you have no business of being in business. And hence Safaricom has mastered this very well. So when we talk of as a way of introduction of strategies, we look at among the various programs, for example, the strategy of Safaricom, it came up with the Bonga points. You know, the Bonga points approach had never been used in this country. So it really, this is a way of loyalty to customers. Customers have Bonga points, especially in telecommunications. Well, we have seen the supermarkets, for example. Nakumatt used to have the points where you have a card, a loyalty card. Petrol stations have also these, fuel companies, and so on. But when it comes to telecommunications, Safaricom was ahead of all the pack. Before even the competitors thought about this, they already thought about Bonga points. A very interesting innovation. It's a reward system. I'm sure all of us use Bonga points. You transfer them, you use them, and so on and so forth. Now, over the years, this program of Safaricom has been enhanced to the extent that it may be viewed as a currency. Bonga points are now a currency. The other day, one of my daughters was asking, Daddy, you know, this time we need some food, and we've not earned our salary. Do you have some Bonga points? And of course, I checked. I got some Bonga points. I sent her some 6,000 Bonga points. She was very excited. She went to the supermarket directly and bought food for her family, foodstuffs for her family, worth about 2,000 shillings. She was very excited. So you can see Bonga points have become a currency. And it's one of the strategies of retaining customers. So people now look at Safaricom gives Bonga points, and therefore you'll use Safaricom services. And this will cascade to as many customers as possible. So that's one of the strategies you can see. The case portrays how a sound strategy can create and also enhance competitive strategy. So I want to tell you, this has put Safaricom ahead of the pack. Can we think of another, probably customer retention strategies? Any other example of customer retention strategies? Give us one more example of customer retention strategies. Yes, I'm sending you this question. Let's get some more. Think a little bit. Give us one more example of customer retention strategies. We have given an example here, one of them in this direction, Safaricom, with the Bonga points. Yes? Any others you think about? Yes, I see some of you typing. Yes. Store bonus. Oh, very interesting. That's another one from Safaricom, I think. Any other supermarket points for free shopping? Yes, those are quite interesting. Right. Any others? Tunukiwa bundles. Wow, we are still within telecommunication, eh? Any others outside telecommunication? Let's see. Yeah. Tunukiwa bundles, Angonga, Atieno, thank you. Supermarkets, yes. Rustandab, Shadrach, Blue Store, thank you. I see here free data. Mapili, yeah. Mdogo, Temel. Buy one, get one free. Excellent. Very, yeah. Any others? Free samples. You know, these are strategies that if you think about, there are free delivery services. Yeah. Maureen, thank you. Yeah, these are all to retain customers so that you keep your people. Any others? Free delivery and many others. I'm sure there can be as many as well. Buy one, get one. Simba points in the KCB Bank. Yeah. Very good. Interesting. And shopping vouchers. Yeah. Right. Thank you very much. I can see those points coming. So we've said that these cases you've given here portray strategies that create and enhance competitive strategy that organizations use in what they do. Coach, ASI, free gifts, all those are actually part of what we're talking about. Now, let's look at very closely, let's look at business strategies and sustainable competitive advantage as the topic for today. If you don't know where you are going, any road will lead you there. That's a common statement that the people talk about. That, if you don't know where you are going, any road will lead you. I want you to pause for a second, ladies and gentlemen, and ask yourself, if you are in the middle there and you don't know where you're going, definitely you can go east and you'll still reach where you want to go. West and you go where you want to reach. So this is what they say. And now there's a little book, Alice in Wonderland. It's a book written by one of those writers, poetry. And the book is Alice in Wonderland. If you haven't, I would invite you to read that book or view that YouTube, Alice in Wonderland, where this lady Alice just went. The road led her to where she wanted to go and did a lot of interesting stuff and so on and so forth. So the principle holds especially true to businesses and underlines the significance of the objective. Yes, you must know where you're going to be able to do better than other companies. Identify the target and time frame for achieving it is the objective. Scope describes the boundaries or environment the firm operates in. You identify the target and you have a time frame in terms of when to achieve this objective. Your objectives has a time frame in terms of you want to reach the market, you want to expand the market, you want to develop new products, you want to bring diversified products, and so on. A company may have the goal of being the largest online retailer in 10 years. For example, take an example. A company may want to think about that kiosk or that shop, that retail shop, may want to be the largest online retailing, or that supermarket may specialize now in online. Given that this COVID pandemic is affecting the whole world today, we don't know, it might be here for 10 years or more. Or there could be other calamities also that will force people not to congregate and use the traditional approach of delivery and going to shops and so on. So if a company thinks and says, look, we want to be the largest online retailer in 10 years, to do this, it must have a better and a different approach that's attractive to potential customers. Definitely, customers must come to the end. Amazon is one of the largest. In fact, Bezos is the founder of this, and he saw this online shopping and shop anything Amazon, and we have Jumia now and others. But if you want to do that, you must think about the approach. This is called competitive advantage. The competitive advantage is being able to find the niche in the market that will be ahead of the others. We have used examples which we have seen here a few minutes ago. We talked about looking at a new, innovative approach to attract your customers. You need to come up with what we call competitive advantage. And now, competitive advantage, companies develop a competitive advantage when they produce attributes that allow them to outperform their competitors. What do we mean? A competitive edge, company must develop a competitive edge so that they are ahead of the others. They outperform competitors. Equity Bank, we mentioned in one of the class, I think, we said Equity Bank was almost ahead of other competitors in terms of banking. the traditional banks were actually running behind equity in terms of the number of accounts opened and so on. Safaricom is another one, and so forth. The important part of developing strategy is finding the sweet spot that aligns the firm's capabilities with the customer needs in a way that the competitors cannot match. Listen to that again. The important part of developing a strategy, that's an approach, is finding that sweet spot. Don't talk of sweet potato, but sweet spot that aligns your capabilities with the customer's needs. What you need to do is competitors may not match you because you are meeting the customer needs where it touches them most. If we look at some of the captions of some of the banks, that is a listening bank. It's what? It's an organization. You find that it touches the customer. Yes, this is a listening bank, and if the services match that, they listen to you whether you are a small investor, a small entrepreneur, or the largest, they will listen to you. They have a niche in the market. And that's what happens. And some of them say, with you everywhere. I think that was Safaricom, with you everywhere you go. You know, that means the spread in terms of the network. Some networks, when you go somewhere else, they say, no network. You see, your phone just goes off. But some of them, like Safaricom, is widely spread. Yeah, and so on. So what we are saying here is that the company must find that spot which makes them outperform other companies. And so in that way, we call it a strategic competitive advantage, strategic competitive advantage. The diagram we see here is a very interesting diagram. And I want us to pause a minute and look at that a little closely. What do we see in this diagram, if we may ask ourselves questions? What do we see in this diagram? I want some of you to respond. Either get your mic and speak to it, or you can type your message here. What do we see in this figure here that is shown here? Anybody wants to describe it? What do we see? Few words. What do we see in this? I see context there. I see a few things there. If you are able to see it, I believe, yeah. What do we see in this that's interesting? Maybe pick out a salient feature here. Yeah. What do we see? Of course, we see what we used to call Venn diagram, and you see circles there. Yeah. What do the circles represent? Yeah. See circles there. One represents competitors' offerings. The other one talks about the customer needs, and the other one talks about companies' capabilities. Very interesting. But what we see here, there are three of them. The context out there is actually the environment. You remember we talked about scanning the environment. When you look at the environmental analysis before you begin, when you continue the journey of strategic management, your environmental analysis, the context, which touches on technology, the industry demographics, that's the population, or where is the money going? I want to tell you that's very interesting in terms of different industries. The money may be going to the women more in terms of apparel or whatever they buy than men, or going to the children. Children industry apparel, if they go to the clothing industry, you find that the textile, more go to the clothes, the children. So more money can be spent in that. So demographics, the population, the regulation, it's the government. What's the government saying in terms of the regulation, regulating the flow and the organization, the company you are in, the industry you are in? Then it touches on and many others in the context. But look at this, look at these three circles that are in the center. What do they show you there? People still typing there. What do you see in the middle? What is that that's interesting in the middle? Anybody's comments here? Yeah. Hearing, I want to get some comments from you. Either you can get your mic and shout something in it, to say something. Yeah, I want to hear you. Your messages here. You want to answer this? Yes. I see a number of you. A link between customer and competitors. A chart describes how a business operates. Yes. I see that. A customer needs. Somebody say that. Somebody say the linkage between the customer, the competitor, the company. Yeah. Competitors offering. Yes. Correlation of the competitors. Yes. I see somebody, Rosundov again, internal and external companies to the environment, demographics, the relationships, sweet potatoes, the spot, sweet spot, the point at which the company meets the customer needs. The sweet spot where you should concentrate more and rely focus. Yes, Godana, that's where you should be. Look at that sweet spot as we can point at it. You know, this is outside what? The competitors. Look at the competitors cycle. Yeah. Competitor cycles there brings the company. Mwambi, I see that, Paris. What brings company customers all together? The relationship. But see, the competitors, the company is competing there directly. It's also competing here directly. Competing there directly. And the customer is there. There are things you are doing that are outside these customers, but they are here where you are meeting the customer. The three where I'm pointing, the other points is a center of all of us are there. My company and your company, we are offering the same services. So really, there's nothing different. You can't expand that more. But out here is a sweet spot. What brings a company customer? Yes, this is a sweet spot. A place where a company enjoys the monopoly of offering services. The customer there is the monopoly you see. Yeah, the sweet spot is where the company gets to meet. Customer goes, yes, is where the market is. Really, sweet spot is where the company gets to meet the customers. This is exactly what is. If you are in this industry, this is where you should find out that you are ahead of these competitors, and we call this point. This is actually you have a competitive advantage over your customers, and this is where Safaricom is. When you look at what Safaricom is doing with the Bonga points and others, this is where it is. This is where Equity Bank went when they went to the unbankable. They opened the banking halls to Mamambogas, coming into bank 100 shillings, open your account 0. While other banks were asking for 1,000 and so on. This one say, no, come with 0, come with whatever you want to, and open your account, and we listen to you. This is where that company, that bank is, and others was. Others have also come in, of course. So this is what we call competitive advantage. And that's the whole foundation of strategic management. Whether you are in manufacturing, whether you are in transport, whether you are in service industry, whether you are a university like our university, ZTech University, compared with other universities, other universities out there, our competitors, how are we doing? This is where we want to expand. What are we doing that is different? They could be doing almost the same things, but we are doing it more different than our competitors. That's where the company should be to be able to create that competitive edge. All right. So as we go along, business and sustainable competitive advantage, of course, the strategic sweet spot of a company is where it meets customers' needs in a way that rivals cannot. Give the context in which it competes. There are several strategies to accomplish this. And these are the strategies, these are the approaches, these are the ways in which a company can be able to achieve that. Cost leadership and differentiation of the product, right? They differentiate the product and they move forward in terms of what different. The Bonga point was different. And their cost leadership, as we see, market focus. What are they focusing the market? Customers, customer care. Besides offering the product, you are different. But unless there's customer care, they will still go back to your competitors. Product and service diversification. And then we look at the multi-business strategy here as we go along here. All right. Let's get down to the cost leadership differentiation as we zero in on that. We zoom in on that and we want to look at a little bit more into this. A company may choose either of this, but not both. You can do the cost leadership and you can also do differentiation. But here it says you may choose it. However, some unique solutions are in a company achieving both. Yes, cost leadership and differentiation. Yes, Regina. See, Regina, you want to say something, Wanjira? Hello. Yes, Regina. Your mic is on. You want to say something? Right. Not, let's continue. So a company may choose cost leadership, differentiation, or both. For example, Sony used to sell Walkman. That was a small radio called Walkman at a higher price than any of its competitors. It's a cost leadership. So it was leading higher than competitors. Yet dominated the marketplace due to the best quality and reliability. Cost leadership. Your cost could be high, but your services are superior. You are already providing cost leadership. You could also have low pricing, and the prices, and you do a lot of mass production. You can also do that. So it's interesting, but this is an example that we can have here that, you have a product that is way above others. You can look at even the hotels. hotels offer services, and hotels are hotels that are classified as 5-star and so on. Some hotels their service a little higher. When you look at a cup of tea, it's mentioning to some of your students in one of the classes that when you go for a cup of tea in, let's say, Kempiski in Nairobi, or one of those 5-star, 6-star hotels, a cup of tea will go for 250 shillings. A cup of tea, a cup of tea. And people walk in there and take tea. And then you go to next door, a small show, a restaurant, that tea is costing 30 bob. Same tea, milk ni hiyo, majani hiyo, sukari ni hiyo. Yeah, and it costs you 30 bob. And the other will cost you 250 shillings, a cup of tea. What does that mean? There is differentiation. There's cost leadership. They are leading. And the people who go there, you are different in that you look at, they go to transact business. They're not just going for a cup of tea, but they want a serene environment where they have good ambience, nice room, nice environment, maybe soft music and something like that. Not TV in the corner there making a lot of noise, but you see a place where you go and sit and have your cup of tea in a quiet environment. You are leading. 250 shillings a cup. It's interesting. So cost competitiveness, you can do that. There are also many other examples we can give, which I want to ask you. You see some service being offered at differential prices, and some prices are higher than others. Why would that be? Maybe why answer that question. And as you think about it, you talk about first class when you are going to train. Those of you pass by they have now stopped for the time being by this train, the SGR. The first class, you pay a premium. And yet, when you look at the other classes, at the economy class, you pay a reasonable fee. What happens? These are all talking about cost leadership. And when it comes to products in the market, similar products, like if you talk of apparel, if you go to one shop, there's one shop in Nairobi, I went one time called Little Red. A suit goes for $500,000 and more. A suit, just a suit. And when you go to a shop somewhere in one of the streets in town, you get your suit at 12,000, 6,000 a suit. What's that differential? Well, materials could be different, but it could be the same, but the way they are priced and the name of the company on the label could be different. Its pricing is its product at a different price because of providing cost leadership, and the market comes in. Well, there are many examples you can think about. Okay, the cost leadership here results in high volume, hence low cost producer. Some of the product will be low cost producer. You're producing low cost and selling them because you are reaching the market at prices that are affordable, and so on. Simon Onyoni, I see you. Very good. You want to make a comment? Are this cost leadership example you want to give? One example? Yes, unmute your mic, please. You can unmute your mic and say something about an example on this. Yes. Simon. Not hearing you. Hello? Simon, you want to give an example?
Not yet.
Yes?
Not
cost
yet.
leadership. Yes, I'm listening. We are listening.
I don't know whether my mic is bad or something.
All right. So you can type in, Yeah. I can see Rostondo say quality of the product or service matters. This key. Quality of the service matters. I can see that happening. Fred Ipalel, you can type Ipale. Hey, Ipale, how are you? Good to see you. Ipale, hi.
I'm fine, sir. Hi.
Yes. Give us an example. Give us an example of a service or a product that there is cost leadership of, our company.
Unfortunately, I'm just joining the class.
Oh, you join the
Right
class.
now.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
And bring the others as well. I'm sure you'll answer the next stage. But there are many, we are talking about cost companies choosing to have a differential pricing for the same service to gain more customers. This really is part of competitive advantage. You get hotels, you get premium services offered, even dry cleaning. You find that you can, when you're taking a coat, for example, to the dry cleaner, it's not like Dobbies we used to use those days, but now dry cleaner. They'll tell you, do you want a premium service or do you want the other service? So cost leadership comes in here, and you find that many people go for premium service because the cleaning is different, the chemicals they use probably, and the way they finish and products and so on. So quality service makes a difference here when we talk of differentials. Now, as we move on, cost leadership, this strategy entails a company establishing a competitive advantage by having the lowest cost of operations in the industry, hence the lowest price than other companies. Cost leadership is establishing a competitive advantage by probably lowering your price and selling your goods at the lowest level possible that you can meet your costs. Meeting your costs and selling them the lowest. There used to be a supermarket, or what we used to call a supermarket, a mart, which was selling products cheaply in Nairobi one time. You go there, same Omo that you have bought at a different shop at a higher price is the lowest, maybe 2-3 shillings lower. And people used to flock in those shops. They are making a difference, competitive advantage in terms of selling at the lowest possible price, and so on and so forth. In the US, we used to have what we call Walmart. You just Google Walmart, one of the largest chain of supermarkets, selling products, basically with specialized product from China. Same clothes, you get cheapest, half the price of other stores. So they really looked at cost leadership in that line, and used to make a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of customers used to flock there on especially Saturday afternoons. Just a lot of the place was just jam-packed every now and then. Same thing with some of our stores in Kenya here. Some of the shops you go to, you'll find that the prices are lower, people go there. Supermarkets, for example, they do a lot of competition on this. Jumia is an example that has become a prominent in the retail industry. Uber is another one that has also provided cost leadership here. If you are talking about Uber, if I may use that example, the taxi business is very competitive, has been, till this COVID-19 has brought a disruption. But it's very, very competitive. Someone could hire a taxi to the airport for 1,500. If you are from downtown Nairobi and going to Jomo Kenyatta, the taxi was between 1,200 and 1,500. But when Uber came into the market, and you could use your app of Uber, you would pay as low as 900 shillings or about 800 shillings to go to the airport. And sometimes lower, up to 500 shillings, depending on the class of car. Also, they ask you, which one? Do you want a smaller car or a big car? And they give you that. So it really took the market by storm. We're talking about cost leadership. Jumia is an example, which is selling prominent retail stores. It's actually cheaper compared to others and so on. You buy things, they deliver them and so on. Cost leadership strategy works on basic principle that the more the number of units produced, the lower the unitary price. The more you produce, the lower the unitary price, which is okay, which is really true. That if you are buying more, it means the production line is busy 24/7, and therefore producing those units at a lower cost. Therefore, they can afford to sell products at the basic cost of lower than the competitors. And this becomes a competitive advantage. It exploits the scale of production. You have heard of mass production. Goods are produced en masse. By producing highly standardized products using advanced technology, you can do this. This is what's happening now with assembly line and this mass production and so on and so forth. So this, we talk about cost leadership. Selling the products, it exploits the scale of production, and the larger the number you produce at the lower cost, you can afford to pass that cost saving to the customers. And the customers are always looking at if they can economize on their shilling. Cost leadership, what are the characteristics of cost leadership as a strategy? One of the characteristics of cost leadership as a strategy towards competitive advantage is one, economies of scale. Size of the company is important. Larger businesses have lower costs because they are producing more, and they have now cost advantage, economies of scale. The advantage of size, larger businesses have increased purchasing power, i.e. they buy in bulk. Supermarkets, for example. Supermarkets have almost killed the smaller shops. If a supermarket came to a locality where you are, if there's none at the moment, it will swallow almost all those kiosks around there at small shops. Because what happens is the supermarket, with each size, it has more products it's offering at slightly lower prices than what you go to buy in a small shop next door. So larger businesses have increased purchasing power, and hence they pass this to their customers. Technology, better and innovative technologies and methods of production bring in cost cutting. It reduces the costs. Technology brings in reduction of cost. As you saw in the car assembly picture we saw at the beginning, there's a picture too, you see it. You saw there that the robotics are there in the factory, in this car assembly, and cars are produced faster because robotics are switched on and switched off. They're not like human beings who take break and so on and so forth. Robotics run, unless there's power outage, they will always be working 24/7. So when you produce using technology, you can produce more than if you are doing by hand, producing goods by hand, or a lower technology or traditional technology. You can see today, if I may take you a little back into the Industrial Revolution. We talk of Industrial Revolution where industries and factories were set up. These ones now continue producing mass production, like clothing, for example. If you look at the apparel industry, they came in when the Industrial Revolution came in, where people now can, clothes are produced in large quantities and so on. And everybody can afford now to wear clothes. And so those days, it was difficult. They were done by seamstresses, and tailors. And you find that their life was a bit, very, very difficult at the time. Some of you may not be there at the time when we used to have sewing machines all over. People wanted to buy uniforms. You go to a tailor. Tailor has to take his, maybe they call tailors, automated processes, producing large quantities of clothes and so on and so forth. So technology also is one of those characteristics of cost leadership. It minimizes, it cuts down costs. Suits today, you get very few tailors because most of them are coming in from Thailand, from Italy, from Turkey. They are coming from China, of course, India. These are made in large quantities. So it means what? It means they are cheaper. Now you can get a suit, gentlemen, young men, gentlemen. You can get a suit at 1,500 shillings. You get a suit, good suit. Yeah? But you see, these are mass produced, so the cost is down. Of course, quality is different also, and so on. Compared to traditionally those who are made using the old technology of us, as you have there the tailor, it takes his time, and so speed also comes in here and talk of cost leadership in terms of technology. Focus, a company producing one product, but with the full focus and efficiency can become the cost leader. Yeah, here specialization comes in. That one of the characteristics of cost leadership is that you can focus on a product and you can produce it high quantity, high volume, and speed. Because the machine's the same, the process the same, so it's just running through the conveyor belt, as we saw in the car manufacturing industry. Even apparel clothes, they do the same thing, and many other products are done the same way. Raw materials can now, I'm talking about the raw materials. Also, costs can be greatly reduced depending on accessibility of raw materials. Talking about characteristics of cost leadership is availability of raw materials. Can you get them, or are you going to wait longer? If you can get the raw materials, then you can reduce the costs of waiting and being able to satisfy the market and so on. So that touches on, again, cost leadership. Because you have the raw materials, you can produce in bulk, you can satisfy the market, and you can meet their needs as they require or demand the product or service. Operational efficiency comes in here. Operational efficiency, getting more tasks done in comparatively lesser time. I mentioned that, and the cost increases efficiency and cuts costs. These are some of the characteristics of cost leadership. We are looking at a company producing goods at a level that is, and marketing goods at a level that is lower than the competitors. They can reach the market faster. The products are uniform in quality, and they are produced faster, and they meet the needs of the customer. This is really talking about cost, and the price is just right price, and so on. You've seen this happening in various industries, whereby your products reaching the market, the lower cost, and so on. As we go to the next item here, we talk about the advantages of cost leadership. Are there advantages of cost leadership? Yes. Higher profits, because reducing development and production costs means higher profit margin. You no longer go to development, product costs. You don't go back to the drawing board, but you have already a design, you have a specific item, you only mass produce. That's it. You have the raw materials, you have the equipment, and you have the technology. You continue just rolling them out. So higher profits are likely to happen, higher margins. The more you sell, the more likely you have higher profits than other competitors. Increase market share. Yes, you can reach more customers. Then the needs of lower costs with the needs of need for value, you reach more customers. Chinese manufacturers have perfected this very well. Chinese manufacturers, they have increased the market share. Their products are available. Now everybody wants to order things. He goes to China. You ask why China? Because China produces them at a higher rate. You can get more. You can get bulk in China because they produce them in large quantity, and the price is right. Thanks to this COVID, it has slowed down that process of plane loads of people going to China or the Far East and coming back to Africa and bringing goods back to Kenya and so on and so on. Part of Africa, most of Africa, including Nigeria. A lot of shipment of goods coming from China and the Far East because they can afford to produce them at a higher level. Their technology, mass production, they are able to produce this. I'll give you an example here about one of the very interesting and would have been a good avenue for Kenyans to really export their products. It was under what we call the AGOA program. The AGOA program is American Growth Opportunities for Africa. And this is a law that was passed in the U.S. One of the presidents, I think this was Obama, that goods from certain countries, developing countries, could find their market to the American market, find their way to the American market with lower tariffs. Taxation was lowered for this, and some of it was removed, especially for the textiles and so on, and hand-woven products. So this was an advantage, and many other products that were under agreement. But unfortunately, the capacity to produce them in Kenya was not there in some of the products. I remember a case where one entrepreneur, one company had received an order to supply hand-woven vitenge shirts and dresses, hand-woven, to the American market, American supermarkets. The supermarkets in America are huge. So one supermarket has branches in 51 states, and a state is as big as a country, or as one of the bigger counties here. So if you are going to supply goods to that, you need them in bulk. And to need them in bulk, the capacity was not there. The market's available, the capacity is not there. So this was lost. We lost a lot of opportunities there. So what we're saying here is the increase in market share, yes, production you cannot reach the bigger market. So you are not able then to provide, because here the price was good. Because compared to price from other products, the Kenyan ones were fetching good prices. Lower, yes, and the traditional American produced products and so on. And the market was there. But the capacity was a problem. Now, as we continue to increase the market share, enhance sustainability. Yeah, that's one of the advantages. Lower costs mean fewer financial threats, especially in dire economic circumstances like COVID-19 and price trade wars. If you do them at lower cost, you can enhance sustainability. Sustainability means you can continue even tomorrow. The company is sustainable. It's going to be running in the near future without any threats to affect its operations. You create more capital, also promotes the availability of more capital resources. Yeah, the more you sell, the more you have reserves, and the more you can also create capital from within, and you can also attract capital from others. Reduces competition, yes. Mass superior pricing model limits new entrants while making it difficult for competitors to thrive. And what I mean here is that reduces competition. When you are talking of cost leadership, competitors may not afford. When they try to sell at your price, depending on their processes, they may not be able to match you. So you have reduced your competition through cost leadership. As we talk about that, before I look at the disadvantages here, one time I looked at one shop and I was buying some products, and I said, but next door the prices are lower than yours. What is happening here? Only that next door shop where I normally buy from, they had run out of stock. The person said, look, I don't know where he gets his products. It's just a question he raised that, these are my costs because I calculate the cost of purchasing, and this is what it is. So it tells you that Also, depending on the processes you have, you can have a cost leadership advantage over your competitors. Because I believe the next door competitor was getting from a manufacturer who was able to afford them at a lower cost. But this time they stock out and so on. Now, come to think about disadvantages. We are not just glorifying cost leadership as one of those strategies that companies use, but there are also disadvantages that come along with this. And one of them is financial cuts in critical areas that have the business. Yeah, you might have financial reductions in areas that are critical to the business because you are concentrating this product. You reduce innovation also because people are just reproducing the products. You are just mass production. So innovation does not come in here. And that's true. Some companies, some organizations may not want to innovate. They just do what they are doing. Produce as long as the market is there. Why innovate? Innovation for the sake of it doesn't make sense. Innovation only makes sense if you are going to take advantage of that innovation to be ahead of others. But as we said, when you do the cost leadership, you may ignore innovation and other people will copy what you're doing. And very soon you find that it's a crowded market. And hence the competitors become more and affect your revenue and so on. It reduces importance of customer feedback. Yes. Focus on cost reduction leads to being blind of what the market trends are. Many times it's possible. You are selling goods. I told you about the Walmart in the US. The Walmart in the US, the products were mass produced in China, Chinese factories, wherever they were. And they were being sold. You could get anything at half the price of what it is in the next other shops or other stores. The question again here is, they were selling them. And when you asked if there was something missing in one of the products you're buying, they tell you choose another one. Because the fellows are just selling. And they were selling because they were brought en masse. And hence, even customer trends, maybe you may be blind in that direction. Reduction of important customer feedback and so on. Encourages low quality products. Yes, low quality because you're going to the market. You've heard about dumping of products. This is a possibility also because goods are produced en masse in wherever they are manufactured overseas or even locally, and they're just sold in the market at whatever price they sell. So dumping comes in, encourages low quality products reaching the market, and therefore you are actually being affected in terms of quality of those products. Cannot be applied to every product. So the disadvantage, you can't apply to every product. Like if you have a niche like names like the Mercedes-Benz, you can't mass produce Mercedes-Benz and sell them. They lose their meaning of the status vehicle, status symbol, or Apple computers. You know, there are Apple computers and others, the high-end kind of products. You may not want the Rolex as a watch, for example. You know, you can't mass produce Rolexes so that everybody has a Rolex. You find that you have lost its niche in the market, the brand. People go for brands and so on, some of them. And so, again, the disadvantage is that you cannot apply to every product when you do this. Right, requires large sales volume. Yes, requires large sales volume. You must have a large volume to take advantage of this. Can we give examples? Maybe examples. Can we give examples? Cost leadership is just cost leadership. Yeah. Is cost leadership differentiation or just cost leadership? You know, it's cost leadership and there's differentiation. Those are two different terms. Differentiation, we look at it just shortly. So if you can hold on, Jacqueline will come to that. There's Jacqueline Malo. The type of raw materials used in products manufacturing also determines the price. Yeah, that's right. Right. That's why people tend to buy clothes made from China or Turkey, opposed to those ones made in Kenya. Yes, Jacqueline Malo. I didn't look at that, but that's true. You know, they are mass produced in China, cheaper. Of course, the same materials, but when they land in Kenya, they're still cheaper than the locally manufactured goods, including things like sugar. For example, sugar, we can import sugar that cheaply because it's produced cheaply in Brazil and other countries, and many others. Those are examples you can see in terms of products and so on. But I wanted to ask a question: is there a disadvantage of cost leadership? Is there a disadvantage? Another disadvantage of cost leadership besides this? If you have any, please just send your message here in the public gallery here. You can type and send us a message. Otherwise, I want to move on to then differentiation, as somebody has asked. What is differentiation? Yeah. This is to answer one of you had asked saying, are they the same? Is differentiation the same? Cost leadership, differentiation, or just cost leadership? Yes, Jacqueline. This is your answer. Differentiation is about setting your company, product, or service apart. It distinguishes your brand from all other brands. Your brand from all other brands. You remember, some of you can remember back there that we used to have Piga Kwa Kimbo. And Piga Kwa Kimbo was a very, very common brand. And it was used, even the old mamas in the village, when they are sending you to go and buy cooking oil, they will say, Kwenda nunua Kimbo, hapana nunua ingine. That's what they used to say. So it was differentiation of the product. There were others, yes, but the Kimbo stood the test of time. And Kimbo stood the test of time. So even today, those old generation tell you Kimbo. Or Trito, you know, the juices we have. Today, when you go to the supermarket, you are actually lost for choice because there are all sorts of juices coming in every day. Some of them are not genuine, by the way, just chemicals and color and sugar. So be careful when you buy those juices. So during those years back there was one particular brand of juice called Tree Tops. Tree Tops is a company, it was Unilever, a company manufacturing juice called Tree Top, and it was orange in color. It's the same thing with Coca-Cola, for example. When you are talking of Fanta Original, you know, people still go for Fanta Original. Ukisema Fanta, usiseme ingine, Fanta Original. With that taste that was there. So there was that differentiation of the product. Other companies came in like Softer and others, but people still went back to the original Fanta or Coca-Cola. You can see that there's differentiation here. And of course, other differentiations, look at the vehicles in the market today. One company says the vehicle ahead of you is, of course, a Toyota. You see, that company is big because it has flooded the market with its name and the products, the Toyota car. And it's true. And also, you can go further and say the Japanese. When you go on the road, any busy time on the road, cars that you see on the road, if you count them, I want to assure you that over 7 out of 10 cars you count, just going in whichever direction, are Japanese vehicles. At least 7%. That means, 7 out of 10, 70%, it could be higher, are Japanese cars. Just try and count when you look next time. And more than that, when you look at those Japanese cars, I'll tell you, at least 50% are Toyota brands, and so on. So brands are there. So differentiation here means is setting your company apart by the product, distinguishing your brand from others. There are many other areas of the differentiation. Differentiation strategy is a set of actions designed to produce good services customers perceive as being different from competitors' offering and better. That's what happens. Look at coffee, for example, or look at tea. Well, I'm sure all of you who take tea. There are many, many others. Yeah, many, many others. So companies want to differentiate, but people still go back to the original tea. Kenya Tea Packers, whatever. People still go back to the original brand. Others have come in, but you see, again, differentiation. All here is really, are we together again? Hello, are you hearing me? Hello, are you hearing me? Yes. Are we still together?
Yes.
Are you still together? Okay, thank you very much. If we are still together, that's okay, then we can continue. There's some still interruption there. So we are saying differentiation strategies, a set of actions designed to produce products or goods, customers that are different. Thank you very much. Those who have answered yes, 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 yes. Good. Then the goal of differentiation, what is it? Is to achieve competitive advantage again here. You want to be better than others. You know, many of you wear the dresses you are wearing. If you see the brand, some people used to go for brands. I remember my time when we were growing up at your age, there used to be shirts called Shikibo. You know, people used to go for Shikibo shirt. And when you are wearing a Shikibo shirt, you are more of class than compared to people who are wearing shirts that had no brand. You know, even today, people do that. The watches, even the phones. You look at the phones, if somebody's having a Nokia or having a Techno or having who, name it, whatever, people want to look at themselves differently. And what is that? These are differentiation. Different companies are competing and they have their names. Oppo now is in the market and many others. They are there. The same company would be having different products competing with each other. So all this is differentiation to capture the market and be better than your competitors. Coca-Cola is one such example. I'm giving this as I mentioned earlier. That is an example through the value it provides, its brand equity, along with its distribution network, despite numerous competitors. It's ahead of others because of the brand and distribution network. Coca-Cola. If you are asking the older generation among those not very old, that what drink would you want? What soft drink? Even if they take a fancy Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola company manufactures Fanta, it manufactures also Sprite, and what else does it manufacture? And many others. Anyway, but people will still want to think about Coca-Cola. Why? Is the original. In fact, the advertisement on Coke, it says this. The guy advertises Coke is, I think I forget it, but it says, wherever you go, sorry for that, wherever you go, start sharing, wherever you go, you'll find a Coke. Whether you are on top of the mountain or you're right in the deep sea out there, the drink that is a drink of choice is Coca-Cola. So this is, again, a brand name. It's a differentiation. There are many other soft drinks that have come into the market, but people still go for that name because it sings very well and it resonates with what people expect with Coca-Cola because they know it. They know the brand, they know the quality, they know what to get when they have that product. And that's what it means. It's a challenge to companies that think about strategic management to have a brand that's different. Universities are doing the same thing. ZTech University, we brand ourselves as a technology-based university. Others also are technology, but here we are looking at ourselves being what? Being ahead of the pack in terms of blending technology. And it's a new university that invents, sees students like yourselves invent your future. We look at you as partners, we look at you as family. This is what we pride ourselves as. Small, medium university, yes, this is 6,000 students plus. We are universities going places, and we see ourselves, we brand ourselves as a university that makes a difference in terms of creating and assisting our students to be what? To invent themselves. So each company, each organization has a way of looking at themselves, how they run. Coca-Cola, we give example, differentiation. This is all differentiation. And techniques here, differentiation techniques include different quality here, increasing product excellence. At the Apple computer, it's a different way of looking at things, Apple computer. The Apple computer is very much in the West, of course. Today we have others like the Toshiba. I have a Toshiba myself. Mine is a Toshiba. I don't know what you are using, what you are using there. But all these people pride because of what? Because of quality. You have tested it, you have used it, you like it, and therefore you go for that quality. Of course, innovation also here is part of this, one of the techniques. Again, here differentiate, always innovating. Samsung is one of those, but the innovation, I would go to motor vehicle industry, for example, always innovating the type of vehicles. Like, take, for example, the Toyota that we have used, the example I mentioned earlier. And when you look at the brands of Toyota, you are beginning from the high-end vehicles, the SUVs, to the very, very lowest level, not lowest level, but the very reasonable common man vehicle, the small vehicle that is in the market, cheapest in the market. You have all those brands. So what we're saying here is you are always innovating and competing. For the high-end market, you have the high-end products that compete with the high-end products. The middle level and the common level, the economy class level, you also compete with that. This is competition in any company. They are running this in terms of differentiation. Responsiveness to customers is another very, very important technique here, that you respond to customer needs. That's why we're keeping asking you people, are we okay? Are we providing the services you expected? As a university, we want to make sure that we are responsive to your needs. If there are areas that we need to improve, let us know. We have an open door policy that our students can comment and comment on any issues regarding the education, and we are able also to make sure that we ensure that we are responsive to your needs. Techno is one of these companies that is making phones, and they have what they have a dedicated center called call center. These are call care centers centers that are really looking at the service for techno, and many others that they have opened in online organizations, companies have opened for the responsive to customers. They're always 24/7 phone dedicated to pick your concerns and respond to them. This is responsiveness to customers, not of course burying your head in the sand like the ostrich. Buried his head in the sand and didn't care what was happening when they found out that everybody has left. So we are responsive to our customers, and differentiation means being responsive. Respond to customer psychological desires. Yes, what do they expect? You are appealing to psychological desire. For example, people wearing watches, they want simple status. They want a Rolex. A Rolex was the watch. During our time, the young, when they were just wearing the first watches, we used to have different types. We used to have Oris, which was there for many years. It disappeared now from the market. And then there was Timex, it was there. Then, of course, many others. And Rolex was one of the top most watches, they say, made by the Swiss, for those who matter. And so you talk about psychological desires. What are the psychological desires? Of a customer. A customer may want to go to, rather than buying, let's say, a simple gadget like buying a packet of flour. And instead of going to the nearest supermarket shop, they want to go to the supermarket. They want to go to this huge supermarket, Uchumi is still limping. They go to shops like Tuskys, go there and walk around and buy from Tuskys. Price might be slightly different, but you see they respond to your psychological needs. When you get there, they say we have everything. So we're talking about responding to the psychological desires of customers. And that's one of the differentiation. What do the customers desire? What sort of service do they require? For example, I'll give you one, the banks. The banks, at one time, they were just offering basic services. You go to the banking hall, you line up with everybody else. What you are doing there is you're waiting. Some banks had long queues, and people don't have that. So some banks came up with a different product called prestige banking. Prestige banking is where you pay slightly more for the service they offer, but you are given a place to sit. A cup of coffee there or tea and biscuits there. You are seated while they serve you prestige, banking. And some have come with premier banking and premier branches. They still have the other services, yes, banking services, common banking hall, but they are moved, they are brought different products. Where if they talk of prestige, the services are better. You are served there while you are seated, and you are also given some refreshment as you wait for service. And that kind of. So again, psychological desires appeal to those people who want certain services for the same product they're buying. And so this is differentiation coming in. Classes, for example, in the train, mentioned about the train. If you are shuttling down to Mombasa, from Mombasa to Nairobi by SGR, there's first class. Using first class, spacious room, you are sat there, you enjoy. Planes also, when you're flying, the same thing. There used to be first class or business class, and then there is, of course, the economy. They don't call it third class; they call it economy class, using a very interesting term, very good one, yeah. Economy class, or some of them call it the business class. Business, all of you are in business, and then they have, of course, the premier class, whereby you are paying more, and when you are checking in at the airport, you don't mix up with everybody. You, of course, check in and go to a lounge, nice lounge where you are provided with refreshments as you wait to board your plane. All these are appealing to the psychological desires of a customer, but offering the same services. Same service, you want to fly from Nairobi to Johannesburg, and you can fly first class, or you can fly business class, which is basically everybody. You are sitting like in a bus or a matatu. I mean, sorry to use this term, but you are seated to two per chair, both sides. But the other one is your own spacious chair, and you can stretch your legs. You can even snooze a little bit, sleep, and that kind of thing. So again, psychological desires. And there is a cost to this when you do this, but you are again reaching the market. The other one is reliability of products, improving its features so that it becomes more dependable than competitors. Yeah. Reliability product, very interesting. All of us use bulbs, these bulbs of lighting. And you can see that there are all sorts of bulbs in the supermarket. You can buy those ones, the cheapest, 40 shillings or 45. Those ones that are bright light, but they consume more power, and their technology which was used for them may not have been perfect. So because it consumes more power. And then there are those ones that are saving, energy saving bulbs. long-lasting energy saving, you pay about 200 shillings for one bulb. Same bulb, similar offering same services. It's a bulb for 45 shillings, which will last only so many hours. It may last you a month, 2, 3, 4 months, depending on the usage. Or there's one that will last you for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years. So again, here is reliability of the product. That's what we say again, product reliability as a differentiation approach. I want to pause there for a minute and ask the question, what examples can you give of product differentiation? Matatu's Wi-Fi, Tiana, thank you very much. I can see that. But what other, what other products can you give as examples under differentiation? Other products or services unique? What other products, what other unique products, I want to use here unique, ready for this. What other unique products or can you give as examples under differentiation technique? Let's ask ourselves that, okay? Okay, Jacqueline, I see iPhone, yeah, very interesting, iPhone, it's an example. Smart TV, yeah, smart TV, you're seated there and you can scroll and you can go to various stages, same TV, you know, but, and you pay slightly more. Chemngeno Vivian, we there, I can see Chemngeno Vivian, you want to say something? Onyoni Tuxedo Suits, yeah, Simon Onyoni, you like that. Yeah, the same suit, but you see you're differentiated. There are people who would go for tuxedo suits, which is very good and very differentiated products and so on. And hotel services, television for entertainment, things like those. Yeah, it's very interesting. Television services. You can go, hotel services. You can also ask for rooms in the room that is has television and has more services. Yes, differentiated services. Yeah, and so on. So there are many examples that we can give. You know, designer watches. Yeah, designer watches. You can see somebody wearing a watch of 250,000. 250 or 2 million, 2,500,000, yeah. Tuoli was saying he was wearing a watch of I don't know how many millions, and so on. You know, digital cameras and so on. You know, all this you can say product differentiation, and that makes you different from others, by the way, because you are in the market and you are competing, and it makes you different because you can reach more customers and you can be able to compete very well in the market where we talk about. Yeah, cameras, I can say number of part up. Yeah, good. That's good for those responses, right? And then, of course, we talked about offering a reliability product here, Phillips. Yeah, reliable. You find that if you buy a product that is priced well, it will definitely give you an opportunity because it's reliable. It cannot break. Buy those bulbs, I tell you. I'm sure some of you have been disappointed many times. I have myself. You go and buy those bulbs, and just before the first switch on, you just bang, you get the bulb explodes. It's very poor quality, but it was cheap. Somebody says because it was cheap, you cannot say much. But if you bought it for 200, a bulb for 200, you expect to give you not less than 6 months or more. In fact, a year. There are bulbs that you just say almost a lifetime, and so on. So differentiation. I see digital radios, yes. Jacqueline Malo, yeah. Budia, digital cameras, yeah. Vistas, designer watches, Rostondo, blenders and mixers. All these, they are all differentiations. Even where you are seated now, and you look at the products that are surrounding you, or the gadgets you are using, you can already tell that that's different from what others are using. And probably yours could be better than what others are using, or yours was cheaper because that's the good thing is that the usability. Some people look at the usability. Can I use it even if it doesn't last a lifetime? But I will use it for the time being. Others look at in terms of I'm buying to stay. Just like if I may give you an example of vehicles. You know, this motor vehicle industry in the 1960s. In the 1960s, late 50s, 60s, the only vehicles we used to have was from Europe. European manufacturers. especially UK, Germany, Italy, the Fiat, and then we used to have Audi, all these. And then there is provincial administration. Many of you may not know where the provincial administration came from. This is what the British left us. And then one interesting one is they left us with the Land Rover. The Land Rover was the main car of the government those days, a Land Rover. Different types. There's 110 and the small type of Land Rovers. These were the vehicles of that time. So, and then the Russians came up with theirs. They were others made in Russia. And somebody said their vehicles are built like tanks to last, This is what was happening those days when you talk about reliability. Products are made to last. If it is made in Germany, you get some of the older generation, they'll tell you, anything made in Germany is good. Don't get this thing made in India or China or wherever. Those ones don't last. Those ones, they come as sukuma wiki na tumiwa na kwisha. But the European vehicles, European technology, you see reliability. So products, even today, when you look at the people, they still look at the European technology. Products made in Europe are built to last. Like the Land Rover, even today is still surviving. There are many brands of cars that have come in the recent from the Far East, but the Land Rover still remains as it is. Even the Leyland, you used to have Leyland and others like those. So really reliability was key. So people buying products they used to buy. Even today, when you look at gadgets used to buy the carpenters, they talk about Germany products, Germany equipment. Those are the products, those are things that last very well. Devices or whatever. They would prefer things made in Germany and things made in the Far East. Why? Because of reliability. After sales service, thank you very much. I can see some of you have seen answered some of the differentiation, like laptops. We have different types of laptops. We have smart laptops and many, many others, smartphones and so on. One of the other techniques of differentiation is after sales support. After sales, when you buy a product, you should be looking at, can I get services after I bought it? Suppose I buy this from a vendor, a seller, and I reach home and it doesn't work. You can return it, of course. You have still a window. Warranty is there. But supposing you use it for 6 months and this needs to be repaired, who can repair it for you? Of course, the person who sold it is selling. It's not really business repairs. So are there services that back up your products? And that's what people look for when do differentiation. After sales service is key, like Toyota and other vehicles also today. You find that they are backed up with serviceability as after sales service, providing the service after sales, like parts that are worn out and the repairs to be done. So this again makes differentiation with the products. Not buying once and no place to do some kind of after sales service. These are differentiation and many companies get on in terms of assisting their clients. Advantages of differentiation, what are they? Advantages, allow me to just stand a little bit as we talk. Advantages of differentiation include creating additional value. Creating additional value in terms of what you are doing, really directly from products, services, from the brand perception. You are also developing a brand loyalty. This is an advantage. People like what you're doing. We talked earlier about the loyalty cards, whereby you use your card in terms of getting customers coming back. You find that supermarkets have these loyalty cards, and they say you are points, and they give you those points. You'll continue coming. The petrol station, and many others. Compete in different ways. Yes, the advantage is you can compete also in different ways in terms of your organization. You can compete in different ways if you differentiate your products. You also talk about justifies high prices, gives a reason for the cost. Yes, when you differentiate a product, of course, you justify the high prices. Not really directly, but indirectly. Because, for example, if you are coming to a restaurant and in the restaurant, of course, there is a common sitting place where you sit down there and you are served your products, your services, you are provided the meal. And then it's also rooms exclusively set for, the upper end customers, those who want a differentiation. Same thing with the banks. Good example is the banks, whereby if you are a prestige banker in one of the banks, it means you don't have to line up with everybody else there. They have created for you a place where you go and sit down, and they serve you the services. They provide also refreshments, and you pay a premium because the monthly charges for your account are slightly higher. I know one bank that charges 3,000 per month. 3,000 per month is knocked out of your account every month, so you must have enough money to maintain such account. It's a prestige account, and therefore you are paying for the services. They also have lounges for meetings. You can also ask for a meeting room, and you are 2 or 3 people, and you sit there and you have your meetings and so on. This is very interesting in that, and you probably pay more for this in terms of the size of the account and so on and so forth. Right. And then we move on to disadvantages of differentiation. What are the disadvantages? Revenue increase is not guaranteed. Consumer may not see added advantage. Yes, it's possible that when you differentiate and the cost goes higher because you have added more features, customers may not, your regular consumers may not pick it up or take it up because it might be expensive. So they may not do that exactly, they may not take up the product. That's a disadvantage that is possible. You know, drawback that you have set up a prestige section, you are charging an extra 3,000 per month for maintaining the account, and you may not get many customers because there you have dedicated staff also and equipment probably. So the revenue may not be that directly from there. As a drawback for differentiation. The other one is perceived value can decline also. The value can go down. Enlightened customers may no longer see the value in your product. Yes, you're calling prestige. Now, if more people come in there, prestige is flooded with people again because everyone can afford that. Then you can see customers cannot see any more value for this. And when it comes also to things like now, technology is coming like e-banking. You don't have to go to the bank. So why should you pay an extra 3,000 per month into your account? From your account, when actually you can sit in your bedroom, or you can sit in your city room, or you can be in your vehicle, or you can be in a meeting somewhere, and you can still transfer money, and you can still do the banking. So they see no longer, they may not see the value in terms of your product. That's enlightened customers. Would see that we no longer need this special kind of treatment and paying more for it. I can still go to the common, and I can still make my services being serviced well. May also strain resources. Because when you talk about differentiation, you need to go to do innovation, resources are there, and so you may spend resources in terms of creating a unique sort of product or service, which may not necessarily result into immediate revenue. These are some of the disadvantages of product differentiation as one of those strategies for gaining a competitive advantage. I want to move on then, ladies and gentlemen, and look at the market-focused strategies. Market focus strategy is one of those topics we're looking at as a niche for market for competitive advantage. That if you focus on the market, then you are able to be competitively advantaged. You'll get that niche in the market. You get that sweet spot by market focus. It's concerned with the identification of a niche in the market and launching a unique product or service in that market. How do we do it? The niche in the market. You have to identify it and see. We've used the example of prestige banking or the classification in terms of travelers. First class, they used to be the train those days, they used to be first class passengers, second class passengers, third class passengers, the common man. If I may just go back to railway, I used to travel by railway when I was going to school. You know, university like yourselves, I used to get into train with Boye all the way to Nairobi, and there used to be classes. First class. If it's first class, you are only sitting alone in your room, and they serve you there. And if you are second class, you are 6 of you in a compartment, and you are there, 6 of you. And if it's third class, oh, that's where competition is. Because it was the cheapest anyway. You all compete together, sit there. Some are standing, some are sitting on the floor, because especially when schools are opening or closing and you are traveling, many of you at the same time. So anyway, what I'm saying here is that there used to be that classification as an example, that the railways used to increase also coaches for second class. They realized that there are more second class passengers or first class. Although first class requires conversion of the coaches into first class and so on. So the niche is in the market, and that's where you get people differentiating what products they want to get. Even in the clothing industry, you can have all examples in terms of creating a niche in the market. I'll be asking you later on to give an example of a niche in the market for any product or service that you may have. Maybe you can just respond by that. What in your own assessment, in any of the industries may think about of creating a niche in the market. Can you tell us something about a niche in the market? Identify the industry, identify the product, and give us what you can see as a niche in the market. It's unique, and it's unique that a company can launch. Maybe I want to hear and to read some of the comments. We want to share some of your comments here. I see somebody here saying, yes, the question here is warranty of a product part of after-sales service. Yes, it is, Jen Kimani. It is. Jacqueline Muelo, different designers of iron sheets, e.g. Penda Mabati, Penda Mabati, Dumuzaz, Royal Mabati. Yeah, those are differentiations we can see here, and so on and so forth. What about a niche in the market? Can we hear about what is a niche in the market of a product of your choice? And we say it's identifying unique product that can be sold in a given market. I see a number of you want to read some of that comments. As we do that, I think I can just continue reading what's in this panel ahead of us. A niche in the market is narrow gap segment of a total market. A niche can be identified based on certain characteristics, particular buyer group, women, youth, senior citizen, geographical uniqueness, Nairobi, Mombasa, rural, urban, special products, attributes that appeal only to specific groups, and so on, or a particular product line, such as lemon juice, children's shoes, etc., etc., etc. I see people still typing. Yeah, I'm asking the question. I didn't type it. I was asking, can you identify a particular product or service and create a niche? Tell us where this could be a niche in one of those. You can take a niche in that, in terms of special interest groups that you can a company can exploit. Think about it as we think about niche in the market. Example. Give examples of niche in the market of a product of your choice. Give an example. Example of a product, service can uniquely have a niche in the market. Niche in the market. Product, service, and have a niche in the market. Give an example of this. I see some of you are giving examples here. The ones who have not given, please, if you can do that. Suits or household clothing like vintages. Yes. Vintages, different levels and different costs and so on. Yeah. Can hotel industry have a niche in the market where they are put in stars like 5-star, 7-star? Yes, Atieno, that's true. The hotels can have a niche in the market because they price themselves as 5-star, 7-star. You can also talk about some that have a niche like their backpacks. You know, what you do is you cook for yourself, you provide meal for yourself, and it's cheap. In fact, that's where many people go for. They don't go for 7-star now. The 7-star are for those fellows who are like Beyonce and others, fellows that are celebrities, and many others like president suits and things like those. But when it comes to the common traveler, many of them would go for now Travelers Inn, which is more or less really mass market. The niche is to get these clients or get these tourists who actually are living on what they call the shoestring budget. Shoestring, but including students. You can actually travel the globe on a shoestring budget, where you stay in the Ys, YWAs, or YCAs, whatever across the globe, and you travel across the globe. Traveling, also looking at the best airlines, the cheapest airlines. Some of them sell tickets that are the auction tickets at $1, a ticket that's about 110 shillings, and you can travel to the US or Europe or whatever. You know, they have a niche in the market. So such as examples I gave. Niche in the market, production of seafood in all regions. Yes, production of seafood. That's a very interesting one. Of course, you have to train people to eat seafood. Very, very strong flavor. You have to train people. and say seafood, have you eaten crabs and lobsters and whatever, until you order pweza. Pweza is what? It's called what? Pweza is this other animal that has 8 tentacles, you know? You can have that. Very interesting, unique, and exotic. Onyoni talked about in the military, we have APC only meant for the military, well designed to survive improvised explosive devices. Yes, Onyoni, that's a good one. Yeah, except the Kenyans were duped the other day. They bought vehicles cheaply that they were APCs, but they were just exploding like popcorn, you know, unfortunately. And many of us, we lost a lot of young people in those vehicles. Unfortunately, you look at 3-4 years back there. I don't know who was in charge of the purchasing, but that was very sad. But basically, you took up specialized equipment, specialized vehicles. Yeah. By the way, did you know that these phones that we have today, these handsets, they were meant for the military? The technology came from the military. Now that Onion is talking about the military, they were not used by everybody. They were used in the military basically. The technology of using the handset, very, very exclusive, and 90s. One phone was going for 250 shillings. The handset you're holding there to make calls to your friends left and right. You buy them cheaply as a 900 bob. You know, they were costing 250 shillings. And it was an inclusive club and so on. Anyway, the niche disappeared for that one. So niches, border size can have a niche in the market. Yes, what kind of niche? Niche to be something that's special, unique. Like some of them have music, some of them have probably a cover when it's raining, and very, very interesting. They have a niche in the market. Very special, narrow gap that you can out of the total market. Yeah, but the borders have when you look at the bigger picture, because they can go anywhere, anytime, except midnight at night. Yes, I see in the market production of drinks, special cocktail drinks or a mocktail used in different regions. Yes, you can do that. Very good. And in the market, organic product. Wow, that's interesting when Mukaria Lucy. Organic foods are now the in thing. If you can do the organic fruits, organic vegetables, organic maize, organic whatever, you have the market, because people are moving out from chemicalized foods that are full of chemicals and so on, preservatives. People are moving there because of the disease we see today. Shop and the cafeterias that only focus on high quality coffee that might be coming from Ghana or even here. Don't go to Ghana, go down Ahmed. Coffee from Kenya is the best, man. You know, this coffee from Kenya. You know, Kahawa, Kenya. If you go out there overseas and you say you're from Kenya, they say, wow, I love Kenyan coffee. I've been to the US, I've been to Canada, I've been to Australia. And always they tell you, I'm from Kenya? Yes. Kenyan coffee. We love Kenyan coffee. Very good flavor, you know, very nice, very tasty. So Kenya coffee, yeah, specialized coffee. Of course, the coffee you buy in the shops here is more or less like it's diluted. It's not, I mean, it meets the customer level. But if you are to export the fast grade, you know, which is blended with others, that's what happens. So coffee, again, specialize. We have a niche in producing coffee and selling it to other people. Shop at cafeterias that only focus on high quality coffee. Yeah, general access such as earphones. Yeah, these are a number of things we can talk about as we continue with the niche in the focus and market niche. A niche can be identified based on certain characteristics, particular by a group. We say that women, for example, the women going in, if you look at the niche for women, shoes. I think women have a love of shoes. You'll pardon me, ladies who are here. I'm sure if I ask you how many pairs of shoes you have, you ladies, you tell me, you not want to tell me exactly, but some of you have not less than 20 pairs at your age. Not less than 20 pairs of shoes. Because many times ladies, they go to shoes, they fall in love with shoes. Sorry to use that term. What about men? What do they fall in love with? Yeah, I don't know. The young guys can tell us here. So the niche. So manufacturers know where to focus and put their strength in terms of financing. Youth, we know what the youth are looking for, the music stuff, like things like those. And the senior citizens, of course, senior citizens are looking for something else. They are actually, their years are going and they want something, gadgets that are not very, very unique, something that can be able to do what they want to do very quickly without complications of many instructions to read and so on. Okay. Then geographic uniqueness, products. Then, of course, the niche also can be special product attributes that are appeal only to specific groups. Then a particular product line, such as lemon juice, we went through those ones. I see here Mutinia, cameras that contain a variety of subsets, e.g. PC cameras, mobile gamers, and things like those. Yeah, many things we can talk about the niche in the market. I can see, wow, you are becoming specialists. You can be hired tomorrow by a company to help them. You see, as we say, you are actually managers. Say that many times, and it's good for you to remember. You are a second year, you are a 42s, you are managers. So think widely. In fact, you can have a lot of other examples you can give here. Sports channels, e.g. ESPN, sports cricket, yeah, entertainment. When we go sports, Mugoya, I see that. And when customer products like toys, yep, many others that you can do. Let's move on to the next slide. Next slide takes us to we're looking at now customer care as part of that. Customer care really very close to the niche in the market. But customer care, what does it do? Customer care strategies is part of that competitive advantage. Customers are at the core of every business and should always be your top priority. Yes, customers are your top priority, ladies and gentlemen. They say customer is king. Strategies that help improve your customer service standards include seek customer feedback. Right now, as we continue seeking your feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, tell us what we're doing and how we can improve this. And I'm sure many organizations do this. They have suggestion boxes, I'm sure. In every organization, there are suggestion boxes, or they give you at the end of the point of sale, they give you a small sheet of paper. Can you fill this for us out quickly and put the box out there or before you exit? Interesting things. Customer, look at the customer feedback. Strengthen your customer service team, build a strong customer. These are actually the marketing team. How is the marketing team? It must be the best, must be right foot forward, because they're the ones who are out there. Not only the marketing team, but even the front office. Are they friendly? Are they welcoming? Are they hospitable? And those kind of things. These are things that you talk about strengthening your customer team. Use customer relation model platforms, streamline their workforce process. All this is starting on the customer, making the customer comfortable. You've seen in the restaurant, for example, when you go to a restaurant, and the first thing in good restaurants that take care of their customers, the first thing they'll ask you, you'll meet somebody at the door, welcoming, well-dressed, of course, not shaggy, not shabby, but well-dressed. Are they there? Nice, of course, decent, not provocative, but decent. They will invite you. Sir, welcome. And then they will hand you over to a waiter who will take you to your seat. Come, sir, welcome, sir. Have a seat. Or madam, have a seat here. Yes, what can we do for you? And on the table is neat already, well laid. And the chairs are there, well set up. There's no squeezing in. And of course, the menu is already there. You don't have to ask for it. And then in restaurants, the Western world, let me tell you the difference. Western world, Europe and Americas, many times when you go to a restaurant, even the lowest level restaurant, except the fast foods, of course, when you are seated, there will always be clean drinking water on the table. They'll always welcome you with a glass of water. Yes, that's free. They give to you that water as you drink. Then you can look at your menu. You look at the menu. Some of you ask whether you are in warm water or cold water. Many times it's water there, room temperature. And then they give you the menu and they ask you, sir, this is our menu. Welcome. What can we do for you? This is our menu. And they will keep talking. The waiter will be there telling you, oh, yeah, we have the best today. Have you tried? Would you like to try our best today? You know, they keep you engaged right from the time you get in. And then, of course, they help you also go through the menu. They don't throw it to you and just go and stand there. You know, that's not customer care. Okay, they'll take care of you. They'll run you through the menu, unless you say you want to do it yourself. But many times they say, may we help you, sir? You say our menu and our special today is, would you want to try that? And if not that one, there's another one also called this. And so have you ever tried? You know, this is our specialty. They will want to keep you entertained. Even if you didn't want to take much, even if you just want a cup of tea, you want to see the service here. Yeah, you look at the menu also very professionally and you say, yeah, do you have a soft drink here or you have some refreshment? Yeah, oh, it is here, refreshments are here. We have mocha coffee, we have all this. They'll run you through that. And then they assist you also pick on one. And then, of course, they provide that. Some restaurants provide you their small biscuits there with your tea or coffee. And you enjoy after they finish. They'll be around. Is there anything, sir, we can do for you, madam? If you're okay, you're all right, fine. You'll always be at the corner looking at you and waiting on you. So that by the end of it, as you finish, they will not harass you to say, this cost is mine. No, they don't harass you with money issue. They know you have come and you pay for it. So as you finish your tea, now they give you the bill. They will not even ask you this, what it costs. They'll give you the bill, a receipt, sheet showing you, the invoice telling you what you have taken is so much, And when you pay, either you pay by credit card, it will also be ready there. You swipe your card if you are using a credit card or debit card, if your bank card, and if you are paying cash, of course, they will gladly receive the money. And if you are such a service many times, you can leave there maybe 10 or 50 bob. It's not an obligation, but basically they serve you. Customer care, customer strategies that make customer come back. That customer will come back again and again and refer people there. But if you are left on your own, you find that it's not there. So customer seek feedback, strengthen customer service team, use customer relationship model, leverage multi-channel servicing. This is a very interesting one where you are servicing customers. Beyond that, you'll receive a telephone call. Sir, you visited our restaurant. How was our service? Or WhatsApp. Receive a message. That's why sometimes they will ask you to write down your contact, your phone number, your name, so that they can contact you and ask you, how was our service? You find that you receive a telephone call. This is customer care. Of course, some restaurants may not be able, some businesses may not be able, because they can do it right there by thanking you for coming. At the end, they will thank you for coming to patronize their services, and they will welcome you. Come again, please, and so on. The manager, if he's around, will come around and greet you, and welcome you to the restaurant again and tell you we have these services. And so on. That's normally a very interesting area. Those of you that are doing human resource, and those of you who are in any area, even if you guys in engineering, customer care is also important because you want the people to come and buy. You want to make a sale, and the customer care is key here. Then after sales service, of course, comes in. We call people and find out how they experienced you. Right? Before I go on, here a comment is, have you ever had a very interesting experience, just an experience? Give a brief experience of customer care service you have experienced, how you have enjoyed. Give a brief example of good or of excellent.
And to judge people.
Customer, moving fast, customer care service you recently enjoyed. Service you recently experienced. Give a brief example of an excellent customer care service you recently experienced. I'm sure these are many, unless you don't have any. I see Josephine Maina talks about the production of African food. So yeah, that was an earlier question. Give a brief example of excellent customer care service you recently experienced. You can type it, or if your mic is open, you can call us and we can discuss this. Yeah, customer care. As you type that, as we said, we are seek customer feedback, strengthen your customer service team, use customer relationship model in platforms, streamline their workforce also, and then do what? Leverage multiple channel, customer switch between multiple channels to enjoy a consistent quality of service, mobile phone, social media, whatever. Yes, I see Rostondo here. I went to book my ticket to Zanzibar. I was offered a seat and coffee while waiting for the long queue. Oh, excellent, Rostondo. Excellent. She booked to travel to Zanzibar. Wow. And did you travel, or this cost you a delay? Did you travel, Rostondo? And if you travel, you must have had a very interesting experience. And that's excellent. A seat and coffee while waiting for the queue, long queue. Customer care, that's good customer care, because they know you are traveling, or they know the queue is long, you may spend hours, and they give you good service, right? As we wait for others to type, we can move on to see the next slide very quickly here, moving with the speed here. Product service diversification. This is a strategy employed by a company to increase profitability and achieve higher sales volume from new products. Diversification can occur at the business level or at corporate level. Business level product diversification, expanding into new segments in the industry that the company is already operating. Corporate level product diversification, expanding into new industry that is beyond the scope of the company. So you do corporate level or business level. This is something that you need to know. When we started at the beginning, we said, you remember we talked about the organization structure. We talked about the board level at the top there, the board of directors or trustees. Then we had that's corporate level really. Then you come down to the senior managers, and then you come to the next level managers, operational managers. So the same thing when we talk about business level product is strategies. Different strategies are set at different levels. Business level is looking actually at expanding into a new segment of industry that the company is already operating in. So at business level, you're looking at what you are already doing. What are you doing at business level? Decisions at business level. You are already in product producing this, but where can we expand into new segment of an industry where you are still there? If it is an apparel, you are making suits, you are making dresses, you are making whatever, that's area that you can be thinking about. But at the corporate level, you are looking at new industries. If you are in apparel, you want to move away from apparel to transport, for example, or you want to move away from that to retailing. If you have been manufacturing, you want to move into wholesale. So these are different industries, and that is what corporate level is. Yes, as we continue to hear about some of your experiences, service offered in a flight while flying, e.g., coffee, meals, and so on. Yeah, most of them do that. Some now you buy with one of the airlines here. They call it economy airline. You buy. They bring your menu. Many customers were surprised when they first came into the market. They didn't tell people enough that you see, when you get the airline, we are charging you half the price, but you have to do what? You have to buy for all refreshments on board. Anyway, so Onyoni, I had a meeting at the deputy president's office. I lost my way and I was helped by this man in a black suit. Oh, many people black suits, of course, but this one helped you. He was very composed and respectful. Directed me to the venue of the meeting. I later realized that he was a policeman. This killed the notion that police are always arrogant. Yeah, you can see that. That was an interesting experience, good customer care in that office, the DP's office, and other offices where you have the similar treatment in terms of the policemen we know in the streets are different from those ones that offer service, or depends on where they're offering service in terms of what kind of service. Simi Wanyonyi, a very sexy lady, good looking as well, helped me push my trolley in a shopping store. Very interesting. Wanyonyi, I hope you are not taken off of the balance. Good looking well, yeah. She helped you push the trolley in a shopping mall. Yeah, that's services. You can see this service offered in a private hospital. Yeah, very interesting. They are very different. You are not treated like just another patient, but you are seen as a client. Very interesting. Then Joseph Maina visiting us in a clinic where they were offering comfortable seat and variety of drinks like tea, coffee, yep. And clinic is very interesting. Freddie Palay, Safaricom customer care that guides on online access of Safaricom, yep. Logically and fluently. Very good. All these you can see are those experiences with us ourselves here. That a brief example of excellent customer care service you recently experienced. These are things that we talk about when you're retaining customers. I'm sure the experiences a number of you have mentioned here, you'd want to go back to that organization or company or buy products from there. As we move quickly here, here we have talked about business level. Remember, business level is at the same. You are already in that industry as you move on. And remember, when you talk of corporate level, you are going to new business, new industries. Yeah, new business, new industries. Right. I see Regina still answering the first question. Regina bought a TV and they offer me after sales service. That's very good. Installing it and they will always call you. If they're good, they'll call you and ask you how the TV is doing. And they'll come back to assist you more and so on and so forth. So as we talk about product service diversification, there are two levels, actually three. There's an operational level also. At the lower level, lower than the managers. If I may go back here a little bit, just a bit. So business level product diversification, but there's also operational level. Operational level are people actually in the factory, and they can add, do changes and decision making. We'll be getting at another, I think another session. We'll look at that. Entering into the unknown market, risks and products diversification. What are they? There are risks involved when you go to the new market. Attractiveness test, you look at how attractive is it, and we will look at Porter's 5 force analysis which can be done to determine the attractiveness of our industry. This is a formula. Michael Porter, professor of management, strategic management, came up with a model of 5 forces analysis, which you'll be looking at. You can even read ahead and look at that. They gave us that we call attractiveness. How attractive is a product diversification? Then the cost of entry. What does it cost you to get into the new product as you diversify? And then the better of test. There must be a synergy. There should be, the unit must be bringing everybody on board, so that you are dealing with all people with finance, you need with people with production, you need people with the marketing. All this comes in with all of you are better off at the end of the new product diversification. And it says that notes you can read on this. Then, of course, product diversification strategy considers a product diversification, choosing product from approach, modifying your existing product. Diversification includes things like analyze whether you have a process, resources to develop the new product or modify the product, assess internal resources needed for implementation. These are some of the things when you look at the steps you use to do product diversification. Objectives, why are you diversifying? The product diversification, which product are you modifying? Source of diversification, what do you analyze? And finally, assess the internal resources. Do you have internal resources that can be able to match your diversification? Right. As we continue here very quickly, the other one that is coming up is number 5 is evaluate the risk involved in diversification and competitor analysis. So there are 6 steps when you talk of product diversification. Again, we have provided you the notes you can read and follow that up in the materials that are start to discuss. Then examples of successful. Examples include the General Electric. Of course, if you look at the General Electric, one of the largest giants in the US, and it's touched the whole world. You can see some products, electrical products written GE, General Electric. In 1892, it merged into electric companies and they formed General Electric. This is an example you can read. Also, Walt Disney, the entertainment companies, except diversified from its animation business to cruise parks and so on. TV broadcasting, live entertainment. Walt Disney has done that, a lot of entertainment. Equity Bank is a closer home. Many products and services are diversified. If I want to look at Equity Bank, among other banks, it did very well diversifying its products, including Safaricom and many others. Diversification, getting new products in the new market. Right. Then, of course, we look at the multi-business strategy. Is our last topic for subtopic for this class, for this session. Multi-business strategy is a strategy that firms use to compete across multiple businesses. Yeah, multi-strategy is a strategy whereby firms, companies use to compete across multiple businesses. Means you are doing different business at the same time. Multi-business firms, there are 2 types of groups here: multi-business firms and single business firms. Multi, they have a lot of businesses they're running. So really, you'll find that you have different companies within one company running different things: transport, insurance, probably manufacturing on one hand, and many others, shipping on the other. Multi-business strategies to reach out because you're expanding and reaching as many customers as possible. Then single business firms that are thinking of expanding into a new business, also which are become multi-business firms. Now, just the illustration that is coming next year will give us that. Yeah, but before we do that, corporate level is seen as really corporate level is more of the multi-business at the corporate level, and then the business level is more or less the business level. Is both of businesses and corporate managers. Managers must translate the statements, as we say, statements of direction into general intent and corporate level. From corporate level, we get to business level. Business level, as we said, actually you are same industry, you are expanding on that, and you are doing diversification at that level. And corporate is looking beyond. Other businesses you can start and run within different industries. And the functional level is not the operational level. It's level below business level. It's composed of managers of product. So you look at different divisions. If you look at manufacturing, for example, you get down to manufacturing what? There are those manufacturing the bolts. There are those that manufacture the nuts. There are those ones doing manufacturing steel wires or whatever. So that you have different products you are manufacturing. Could be also geographical, different locations. And all these come to what we say, they still fit into the multi-business strategy. They develop annual objectives and short-term strategies in the area of production, operational research and development, finance, accounting, and so on. I want to get to this diagram here very quickly. Again, these notes are there. Yeah, if you can see this, it divides both the levels, two levels. There is the, expand this a little bit. I can expand that. And we can see, sharing the screen. We can see here on that screen, sharing that screen, we talk levels of multi-business strategy. At corporate level, strategies and corporate level strategies for the single business firms. That means a small business that's running one particular product or just few products, one main product or few products. And then this one, you talk of multi-business firms. Multi-business is that there are many businesses. Business one here, maybe in location elsewhere, business two, business three. And all these businesses, you find that at each one of them has these levels, at functional level. They have the strategies at research and development, for financial accounting, they have marketing, and they have human relations strategies at each business level. So this is what we call the multi-business level. This is single business level. And when you look at the single business firms, the corporate business level is at this point. You put the corporate and business level. They are all together because a single unit. It's just dealing with one product. So really corporate and business are at the same level. And then you have the functional. But for the corporate level, for the multi-business, you have the three layers. You have the corporate level, looking at the big business, what should we be in next year and the years to come? And here, how can we do best what we have? We are manufacturing this product. How can we do best? Can we increase more products here? But here is functional. The guys now on the ground level, the human resource people dealing with how many people do we require when we the business level, we are expanding new products. How many? What kind of people? Sort of personnel, marketing. What sort of personnel do marketing? Financial, what do we need? And also the R&D coming in that level. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to pause there for a minute and ask if there are any comments or questions. And we can, the comments and the questions you may raise. It's been a 2-hour marathon. And you to ask any questions, any comments that you may want to ask. Comments, questions, or questions. As we've said, ladies and gentlemen, we have attached, again, we have attached notes, and we expect you to read those notes so that you are able to get more details in what we have shared. Of course, this topic is a continuation of the last class, and it's all part of the process of strategic management as we continue with this class. So the notes are available. We have asked you to read and also to discuss, and we expect you to do this. So this lesson, is it recorded? Yes, it's recorded. Is it available? And you should be able to go back to it. We leave it open. You can ask questions, you can read through it. And we have notes that back up this information we have given you. We're also giving you some exercise to do, which you need to do. Right. That's the questions, comments. Oh, I didn't send that. Yeah. Comments or questions. This lesson is recorded. Type of strategy can be developed in low critical areas. What type of strategies can be developed in low critical areas? Jacqueline, I would say it depends on the industry. If you look at the industry that you are in and the particular products, you are low critical areas, the type of strategies really is number one. Strategies are tied to your customers, your clients. What do they expect from you? What do they expect from you? These customers. And then you develop strategy to meet them. If it is a product, differentiation. If it is a product or service. If it is a new product, differentiation. And also the customer care. You want to look at what are the customers saying. If the customers are not satisfied, you should be listening to them. So for any organization, the low critical areas, what you do is listen to the customer. Your ears should be on the ground so that you are able to pick up what they are saying. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for those comments. I see some of them, the comments you're giving me. Well explained, excellent lecture. Thank you, sir. May the Lord bless you. Thank you very much. May the Lord also bless you as you continue. Read the notes and respond. And then maybe I may announce here that tomorrow we have a quiz, 10 multiple choice questions, and 2 questions, essay questions. I may have a choice of you answering one or just one, the answer both of them. But we have that as a quiz tomorrow. So please get ready. You, of course, have been informed, the announced by the head of department, and I know the exam office also. They have said communication to you how to log onto the portal, or yes, and be able the browser and be able to get into the questions and so on. They are timed, so you need to. The quiz will be open. I think what I would want to do is probably the afternoon. I will go. Quiz will be in the afternoon. For this one, will be giving you the. I'll be sending you some announcement, but you as in the afternoon, because I have another in the morning, and other people might be doing the morning. But the time will be there. We give you time, and you log in. And once you log in, then you answer the questions. You can't log in and log out and log in. Once you log in into the portal or into the browser, then you go on just answering following instructions given to you. And as you continue through the questions, answer them. Once you answer, you move the next, then you submit, then we'll mark. We are actually doing, this will be now the mode of exams, given the mode that we have today. Some of us are in places that the network is so low. Quiz that we are to do should be made available for at least 2 days. Yes, we know that, Onyoni. We'll note that with that in mind, that we can still open it, so that I will send you instructions. We can still open it. It can be open even Saturday and continue. But once you open it, it is timed. It is 1 hour, exactly 1 hour, it will be over. It will close. So you make sure that once you get in, you actually answer the questions and move. Would love to have in the afternoon, but I will see. Otherwise, stay safe too, and God bless you. Be abundantly blessed. I enjoyed the class. I hope you did. Thank you very much.